Hello and welcome to Rolling Start, the All-American F1 podcast.
Absolutely.
We're so amped because freaking Silverstone was incredible.
Dude, it's bonkers.
It only took Nico Hulkenberg 238 races, 15 years to finally get his first F1 podium.
The myth, the legend. Dude, that was incredible. Crofty was losing his mind, calling it as Nico's coming across. The entire Netflix crew and the producers are just, they already had the entire
they couldn't have done this better if they planned it themselves.
Every fan there was just like, this guy didn't give up.
Yes.
This guy didn't give up. And it's an incredible story.
Yes.
He freaking had a hammy.
Yes.
Coming at him.
Yes.
In the end. And literally, the Sky Sports team, they're like, it's going to be like taking candy from a baby. Hulk's
100%.
not going to be able to hold hammy off.
Yeah.
And I was like, my brother Phil, who's an avid listener of the show.
Phil. Naughty Phil. Naughty
you
Phil.
to death. He texted me this morning. Now he's on the East Coast. We're on the West Coast of California. And I see a text from him, and I just automatically open it.
Right, 100%.
And I was like,
because you're a loving brother.
What have I done? Because he texted me. He's like, WTF, Hulk. What? I was like, Hulk is a podium. I was just like, no. So Phil, I love you. I'm never going to open your text on Sunday morning
ever again
until I watch the race. So I knew going into it that he won.
Yeah.
But still, it was just. Now, here's my question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Can we now officially say that Kick's performance is for real? Because here's the thing. Kick,
That's a great question.
They didn't just hop Aston Martin. We talked about this last week, how Kick and Aston are going at it, and Aston was only a couple points ahead. They didn't just hop them. They passed Racing Bulls.
Yes.
And now Kick, in the constructors, Kick is in 6th place with 41 points. Their next stop is Williams. Is this performance for real?
I don't know, man. I mean, you saw something today that's hard to quantify because it was chaos.
It was
strategy.
Max was heartbreak all over the place.
Miracles were happening. I mean, it was weather. It was wild. It was an incredible British summer day at Silverstone.
All the
track.
Americans are like, yeah, this is the kind of action I want to see.
Exactly. Bad time. And it was wonderful. So it's hard to say, are they back? They have improved.
They have.
Significantly. And I think there's hope because self-admittedly, to your question about whether or not they can overtake Williams, James Vow said, we're not bringing upgrades as quickly and as efficiently as everybody else in the field. No. They have a small upgrade coming at the next race, but they're still not quite ahead of the curve like everybody else seems to be.
Mm-hmm.
You're looking at Red Bull, who seems to have given up on their car. You're looking at all of these
and
other
their
teams.
drivers.
Yeah,
apparently.
you're looking at Haas, which started strong. Williams started strong, and now they're kind of starting to just kind of regress and fade back a little bit. And so, I think, again, where did Kick come from this year?
Dude, you know what Kick's reminding me of? And this is it's not a fair comparison, but this is what they reminded me of this year. They remind me of McLaren. When McLaren started in last place with the slowest car, and then
just slowly
they
start
just
turning it
halfway
around.
Through the season, switched,
which is
flipped a switch and literally just came out of nowhere. Now, obviously, Kick is not coming for the championship, but they're coming for Williams.
They're coming for something. They're coming for points.
They're potentially coming for Red Bull.
Yes.
Like in what? Now, again, mathematically that'd be tough, but that's the next team ahead of Williams.
Yeah,
is like,
and if Bortoleto and Hulkenberg start consistently scoring points, I mean, Yuki can't get the car out of the backfield.
Dude, we'll talk about them later.
We'll skim over it.
Unreal.
Yeah, Kick's doing well. Start to finish, who do you feel like this week gained and who do you feel like crumbled?
Oh, let's go on. Oh wow, we're gonna be going over the entire field here. So I'll start with gained. Obviously, Hulk and Kick.
Yeah, 100%.
Gasly,
Biggest gainers of the week.
Gasly, 6th.
Gasly.
That's a huge gain.
Racing hard.
Lance Stroll, he benefited from some strategy, but the man brought it home in 7th.
There's a lot of luck.
There's some luck there. Alonso. So those are the ones that I think gained.
Yep.
We had
You
Hulk.
didn't include Hamilton in that. So you don't think Hamilton gained? Guy ended 4th.
He ended 4th.
His teammate ended where?
Hang on a sec. He ended 4th, and a kick ended ahead of him, and he couldn't chase down the kick.
He was chasing him down. He just wasn't
in
close
a
enough.
Ferrari.
Yeah, well,
so
yeah, there's something to say about that.
So that's my only feedback is I'm not going to count that as a
Yeah,
gain if
yeah,
you
yeah,
can't catch. And he's at one point, he's like 1.5 seconds behind the Hulk, and I was like, Hammy,
What are you doing?
Home Grand Prix.
You should be in front.
You're what? Anyway, so Hulk gained, Gasly gained, Lance Stroll, as much as I hate to say it, gained. Now here's the folks that I think lost. Max lost out.
Max lost.
Max started on pole. Wait, dude, we're just going over everyone right now. Max, I'm going to talk about qualifying for a second.
Yeah.
So Max in Q3.
Oh my gosh, what a lap.
He put
What
on a
freaking
clinic.
lap. Oh,
Everyone
my
else
goodness.
finished.
Yes.
Piastri's on pole, provisional pole. Max goes last. And it was just one of those baller moves
Yeah.
that only one of the greats can pull off, where you just see sector times. Max aces
Yeah.
first sector.
It came out. It
Aces.
feels like it came out of nowhere.
Oh my! And then aces third, and he even had a little like
yeah.
moment,
Little twitch.
and he just pulls pull out of nowhere. And it was one of those moments where I just felt like Max, as a driver, was talking to McLaren and Hammy and everyone else, and they're just like, "Sit down, sit down." It was just one of those incredible moments. But during the race, he couldn't convert. Now the weather obviously was just insanity, but Max was a huge loser today.
Huge loser.
I would put Hamilton in there as a loser as well. He had pace this weekend, couldn't catch the kick. I put Alonso in that loser category as well. He got in the bad side of strategy. Lance got a better strategy than him. Alonso at one point was way further up. He ended in 9th place, which again, he's now scored 4 races in a row.
And double points for Aston is a great weekend for
which
them.
is great. But as far as a loser, though, Kick jumped them.
Yeah, 100%.
So
they
they're
lost
in the loser category. So those are my big ones.
First 3 were orange, lime green. You never thought it would have been lime green. You maybe thought it would have been maybe an Aston. Maybe.
I mean, James
if you were to say at the
Bond
beginning of
got
the
beat
end of
out
the year,
by
oh my gosh! Imagine at the beginning of the year, you're telling me at the British Grand Prix, Nico Hulkenberg in a kick was going to be in P3. It just does not make sense. They were the winners this weekend. Kick deserves a round of applause. They were in it. They made the right calls. Nico Hulkenberg started in P19. He started in P freaking 19.
Only in F1. Oh my God.
Amazing story.
Yeah.
Loser, Oscar.
I was just gonna ask you about that.
10-second penalty.
Was he robbed? Was Oscar Piastri robbed of a win at Silverstone?
It felt aggressive. The 10-second penalty felt aggressive.
Ted said the same thing. Kravitz was like, listen, 10 seconds, people do way worse than they get 10 seconds.
100%. I think now my one note would be it was sketchy conditions. And one of the main rules that the race director laid out this weekend is behind a safety car, you cannot drive erratically. And so for him to come around a corner, low visibility, and just kind of like, get off the gas, even put the brake on, I don't know. Don't have the telemetry. Sorry.
Yeah.
Check with Karun Chandok. And, Max to go flying by him. Now, I also think Max thought he was going to jump the gun and start the race then. So Max gunned it. And then Max also covered his behind by saying,
it's all strategy. It's all chess. These guys are playing chess
all the time, games with these guys.
Yeah. Russ at 1.2 was like calling something out. He was like, hey, we need to do this. And Crossy's like, yeah, because it would benefit you.
Yeah. I can't believe this race isn't being red flagged right now. So I could maybe pit and get brand new tires and come out here when it's a little bit easier to see. Yeah, exactly. I think all of it. I would say Lewis is a winner this weekend. I disagree with you on loser. Yes, he lost to a kick, but where's Ferrari really been this whole season? Like
True.
And for him to be where he was and for Leclerc to be in P14, I think speaks a lot. And just the way that he handled the whole weekend.
Yeah.
He nailed free practice 1, free practice 2. He was on a runner for FP3 and then ended up getting the session ended up getting ended because of a red yellow flag. And I just think he was in the groove of it. There was one point where the car started to go away from him. He started complaining about, I think he was overtaken by, who was he overtaken by? Russell.
Russell did overtake him when he went off track.
Yeah. And then he came back and he overtook Russell. He overtook Lance. He went straight up the field.
Yeah. I mean, Ferrari did extend their lead. They're up to 222. Mercedes is at 210. So they extended by several points. I think 10 points, which is big in their battle with Mercedes for second place. I mean, when a kick is going to beat you and you're in a Ferrari, like, it's hard for me to reconcile that. But I can appreciate the fact that, like,
for sure,
he beat his teammate.
Yeah.
And he beat him handedly. Now, again, this is one of those, I love these races, but they're an outlier in the curve. We can't really, like, harvest
it's
a lot
hard to judge the whole season based
data
off of
from
what
this
happens
and be like, well,
rainy,
clearly we can say.
Yeah.
So but, like, I love the outliers because at the end of the day, you got to keep the car on the track.
Yes.
And if you can keep it on the track during a crazy race, guess what? You're just going to get lucky.
Yeah.
Like, we had, 5 or 6 DNFs?
Yeah, it was a lot of people who DNF.
Unreal. Like,
yeah, Franco, Liam, Gabrielle, Isaac, Kimmy. Oh, look at that. All the rookies. All the rookies except Ollie Berman, who got a
11.
freaking was just all over the place, dude. Oh man,
that's
rookies.
Hysterical.
That's
I didn't even realize
so
that.
Funny.
The rookies, dude.
They were out, dude. And you really did start to see some of the experience really pay off.
I mean, Hulk, that man has been. So get back to Hulk real quick. Ted Kravitz is talking. He's like, listen, Hulk's story is so amazing because he was out of F1.
Yeah.
He was a pundit. He was literally a TV personality.
Correct.
Before Haas picked him back up and re-signed him. Like, this guy's story is incredible. For him to exit F1 completely, move on with his career, come back. And I think the experience is what you're seeing. Like you said, all the rookies were the ones that crashed out except for Ollie. Like, these kind of races, drivers like Hulk, they're able to hold it down because they've got so much mileage, and they just they understand how to navigate these kind of conditions.
100%. I want to ask you a question about the teams this week.
Yeah, go for it.
So, which team embarrassed themselves at the Silverstone? Was it Aston? Was it Ferrari? Was it Alpine? Was it?
Who
shamed themselves as they're leaving Silverstone? Or who's going, man, we really dropped the ball this weekend?
So if I'm Racing Bulls, I'm pretty pissed because we got jumped by Kick and both of our drivers DNF'd.
Right.
Badly.
Yep.
And Isaac's
100%.
always held it down, but he freaking wrecked his car. Liam was the first one to go out on lap 1.
Right.
So I'm not feeling good. Both of our drivers crashed out and Kick has our number now.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm Aston, we have double points finish. I'm feeling okay, but I'm still feeling terrible that freaking Kick beat us.
Right.
And now we have to go chase down Racing Bulls to even get to Kick. This is insane. If I'm Red Bull, though, I don't know what to do. Yuki finished in last place again.
Yeah.
Again.
Yes.
Max
Fast car to cross the
was
line.
on pole.
Correct.
Now, obviously,
ended in fifth.
This was terrible.
It's a bad weekend.
This is a bad weekend, but it's a pattern now.
Yeah.
It's a pattern. Max is towards the top.
Yep.
Yuki's at the bottom.
Yeah.
And so if I'm
Red Bull lost.
Red Bull lost. Red Bull should feel terrible.
Yes.
Max salvaged when he spun out after the fourth safety car restart. And he salvaged to get back into some decent points. But Max is falling behind in the drivers. There's talks of his option potentially coming into play next race.
Right.
In his contract. Max is now in third with 165 points. Lando's got 226 in second.
Right. Yeah.
And Oscar's at 234. Max he's out.
Yeah, Red Bull definitely lost this week. I think you look at as a team, McLaren gets 43 points. Red Bull gets 10. That's 33 less points from a team that was winning championships.
Yeah.
And that's not new.
No.
That's not new. I mean, they got 5 less points than Kick Sauber. They got less points than Ferrari. It's a tough day.
Yeah, dude.
For them. I mean, they marginally got more points than Aston Martin. And so their second driver is still not there. Their car is still not there. Max was furious with the car this week.
Oh, he was so upset.
He was
driving it.
He's over it, dude. He is over it.
And do you think that Max's responses in the press conference when he's asked about if he's going to leave Red Bull, do you feel that's the true Max, or the Max on a Sunday raging against this car is the true Max? Like, which one's being more honest about how he feels about the car and his place on the team?
Yeah,
because they're two different people.
Totally. I think when it comes to Max, I really do feel like when he's in the car, he's laser focused on the car.
Yeah.
And so I think the answer is yes and no to your question. I think when he's in the car, he's genuinely frustrated because it's always about balance. It's always about brakes. It's always about something very specific to why the car's not doing what he needs it to do.
Yes.
He's as pissed off as he sounds, his feedback is extremely clear.
Yeah. Yeah.
My upshifts are not what they need to be. It's clipping on the down. Like, you know what I mean? It's always really specific. He gives the engineers exactly what they need. Yep. Clarity is kindness. Max is kind in that sense.
Max is very clear.
Very clear. So he's very kind. And when it comes to the press, I just don't know if Max cares enough. He doesn't play the game. He rejects the premise of every single question.
Which is what I love about him.
So they ask him the question, he goes, I've already answered this. Or it doesn't really matter to me. Yeah. Or I don't really want to talk about that. Like, he just doesn't care.
Or he'll just say, listen, if I give you the answer that you're fishing for,
right,
it'll turn into this huge story. So I won't give, like, literally he was asked a question about, again, if he could see himself racing for another team besides Red Bull.
Right.
Or if he would want to stay at Red Bull his whole career. Yeah. He's like, listen, if I say yes, the entire world will run with that story.
Correct.
So I'm going to say, I can't see myself racing with another team besides Red Bull.
Yeah.
I would love to stay at one team my entire career. So he acknowledges the setup, denies the premise of the question, and then just says what he wants to say, even if it's not actually true. He's in talks with Mercedes. We all know he's in talks with Mercedes.
100%.
But that's what I appreciate about him.
Yeah, he just says, oh, it would be really great for me to end my F1 career at the same team that I started at, to begin and end my F1 career with the team. And the other thing about Max that I'm kind of like, he might just go, nah, don't want to go to another team. I'm going to go do endurance racing for 3 years. That's the kind of, like,
and then he might,
because he's a pure racer,
come back. He might just come back and be like, and every F1 team would just be like, please come race for us.
Yes.
Max is so young. He's like 10 years younger than we are.
Yes, he's very young.
And Alonso is
extremely
older
young
than us.
Yes.
By like 10 years.
Yes.
Well, maybe not 10.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll go with that.
6, 7.
Yeah.
This guy's got mileage still.
Yeah. And Red Bull's giving him a scooter and saying, go race a Ferrari. Oh, what do they expect? I was asking myself at the beginning of this season, watching all of this kind of unfold with Max and Red Bull, like, are we watching the fall of a dynasty, or is this just another tantrum phase of Max's career?
Max, he said something that was, I think, very mature when he was asked about this. And he was asked, like, is this as fun as the season when you were dominant? And of course he's like, no, of course it's not fun right now.
Right.
Of course it's not fun.
Right.
But I knew this time would come.
Right. Exactly.
And that's where I'm like, when they're at the highs, the reason they celebrated so hard when they won every single race but one is because that's a 1 in a million.
100.
That's never 100%. Been done. They could never.
Very good.
Like, you have went to the peak of Everest. You can't go any higher than that. Yeah. The only height you could go to is to win every single race, which now is just impossible. but they did it. They almost reached perfection. So it's downhill from there, baby. And Max, I thought was like, hey, yeah, I know it's downhill from here. So I think in that way, he's weathering it well. At the same time, he's exploring his options. He's like, I know who I am. I know I'm one of the best racers out there. And I know Mercedes is one of the best teams. I can be committed to Red Bull while also saying, yeah, I'm going to freaking explore my options and see what I can land here. And so that's what I appreciate about him too, is there's a lot of maturity that Max has. And he's God, when he first started, he was brash and dangerous and crazy. And like, he's maintained some of his
edge. Yeah.
But he has matured
100%
in how he approaches the sport, which I appreciate.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think Max is, I think he's entering into a different phase of his career, in the sense of he's looking further down the road.
Yeah.
And he's saying, where do I want to build again? Do I want to start from scratch again with a team?
Mm-hmm.
Or do I just want to say, man, it's been a great ride?
Yeah.
And maybe when he's saying in the media, this could also be Max, I wanted to start my career with a team and end it with a team, means that if his performance flaws is just for him going, I'm out.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go do. We all know he wants to race other races. Yeah. Everyone knows. He says it. I want to race these other things. He can't because he's a Formula One driver. But he wants to go get what. There's nothing stopping him. He's made more money than he knows what to do with. Yeah. He's literally in this because he loves racing. He loves driving cars. He's motivated because he loves driving cars. Let's shift to McLaren. McLaren gave us a 1-2 punch.
They did. There's a lot of drama there, though.
A lot of drama. And now they're punching each other.
Well, dude, Oscar, I've never seen him so angry.
I've never seen him with emotions.
Dude, a god bled today.
Yes.
You saw what got to him.
Yeah.
And as he's being interviewed, he's like, I'm not going to answer this. I will get in trouble. And he said it twice. He's like, I cannot answer this. But you could just see how how utterly just destroyed he was by the penalty. And we've already talked about it. I think it was too harsh. But at the same time, like, this guy's race win was taken from him. And so
whoa. But by who?
The stewards.
Right. It wasn't. I think my question is on the internet, on the interwebs, the argument is like, Lando should have flipped the decision back. He should have switched places.
Hell no.
And even the McLaren radio came over and said, hey, we're not doing team orders.
Well, Oscar asked them to do that.
Exactly. How do you feel about that? Do you feel like Oscar should have asked?
I can understand why he did it.
Yeah.
I don't think it was fair of him to ask that, because it's not Lando's fault.
No.
It's not, and it's completely unsportsmanlike of a team to say, hey, Lando, we don't agree with the decision the stewards have made about your teammate, which penalized and took the lead from him. Yeah. So you get, that's completely. So Oscar, I think Oscar asked it, and this is crazy because we talk about how cool hand Luke this guy is. He asked it in the midst of his anger.
Yeah,
his emotion. In the midst of his emotion.
Yeah, I agree.
Which again, like, here's the thing. Everyone saw that. Like,
100%.
They saw what got to 100%. Him.
100%.
And like, people can use that against him now. But like, Oscar shouldn't have asked that.
No.
It wasn't fair of him to ask it. But again, I think he did it in the midst of his emotion. So
yeah, no, I agree. I think the interesting thing for me was you're asking your team, you're basically communicating, hey, because I got screwed over by those stewards, I now want you to screw over my teammate so that I can get what I feel like I deserve.
Bad look, Oscar.
It's not cute.
No.
It's a little selfish. And I get it. There's an air of that in this sport. But at the same time, there's so many times where things like this just happen in Formula One.
Yeah, this was like a demolition derby.
It was
of
wild.
A Grand Prix. It was like last man standing. It was like, crazy eights. It was just, and it's one of those things where it just happens.
Yes.
When weather's nuts, everything goes out the window.
Yes.
And it's literally, can you keep your car on the track? Can you maintain position? And so, for Oscar, that's just what today was.
Yeah.
It wasn't going to be anything else as soon as the rain started coming down. And unfortunately, he made a decision.
Yep.
That was dangerous. He deserved to be penalized in some way. And unfortunately, it was a harsh penalty.
Yes, 100%. Okay, so McLaren in the constructors, obviously number one.
Yes.
460 points. Their closest competitor is Ferrari, which is 238 points behind them.
It's like Red Bull from a couple years ago.
It means Ferrari would have to literally double, more than double. Is there any way that McLaren loses this?
No, absolutely not.
They've got it.
They've got it in the bag. No one's even close. They were at one point today, they were 3 seconds a lap faster than the rest of the pack.
On the same tires.
3 seconds a lap faster.
Yes. And at the moment, they were doing the crossover from the intermediates to the slicks.
Unreal.
The slick drivers were only just matching the McLarens on intermediate tires.
No, dude, there's no way they lose
Their
this.
car is a rocket. Dude.
I mean, they could just race one driver from here to the rest of the season, and they would still win the constructors.
So true.
So there's no way they lose it. They're dominant. That car is a rocket ship. Yeah. They're it.
So if they're number one, then let's talk number two, like runner up. So we got Ferrari 222, we got Mercedes 210, and we've got Red Bull / Max Verstappen 172.
Yeah. I mean, Red Bull's out, dude. Red Bull's
done.
Fourth.
They're not doing it.
The Red Bull is Aston Martin from a few seasons ago, where they were stuck in no man's land, best of the rest. They weren't going to catch the ones ahead. They weren't going to be caught by the ones behind. That's where Red Bull's at. They're just on an island by themselves.
Yep.
So
Red Bull's out. So really it's between Ferrari and Mercedes.
It's between Ferrari and Mercedes, and it's between, do you go with Hamilton and Chuck, or do you go with Russ and Kimi? And it's honestly a toss-up. I think it comes down to the car, though. I think the driver pairings, sure, Kimi's a rookie. But I think this year, the car is such a variable for both of those teams. Of course it is. I mean, who is your money on? Is it Ferrari? Is it Mercedes to go second?
My money is on... It's on Mercedes. Because I see... Granted, obviously, one of their drivers just didn't finish today.
They didn't do so well today.
I can't really say this.
Russell was in 10th.
But ultimately, if you
Kimi
look back through the
out.
results, they're closer to each other.
As a driver pairing. Yeah. Hamilton
and Leclerc's gap is just too erratic for me. And so, and I just feel like there's just Ferrari.
Well, but hang on a second.
Are all over the place.
Hang on a second. Let me kick that back a little bit. Driver standings. We've got Russell in fourth with 147 points.
Yeah.
And then it comes to two Ferraris. Chuck with 119, Lewis with 103. Kimi's at 63.
Yeah.
Kimi's plateaued a little bit.
He's plateaued a little bit. He had he had 3 really bad weekends. So I give you that.
So here's the thing. It's so hard because the Ferraris are splitting the Mercedes drivers in the standings right now.
Yep.
And Kimi isn't close to the Ferraris.
No.
He's a full 40 points back from Lewis, who's one place ahead of him. Like that's significant, especially considering that Kimi's, he got a podium already, but he's not going to go 1-2.
No, but I think that Mercedes can rally with George performing the way he is. And I think they can rally behind Kimi because here's the thing. George is performing. Consistently.
He's fourth.
The Ferrari drivers, both of them, crazy experienced, all over the place. They're all over the board.
It's the car.
They're only working on Kimi at Mercedes. George is performing. They've got freaking Bono, his engineer, working with him. And Kimi has the talent, dude. He's getting better and better. Yeah, he had a really crap run over the last few races. I'll give you that. It's just the difference between Ferrari and Mercedes right now is that Ferrari's 2025 strategy is pray, pit, and then do the exact same thing the next week. And it's like the most historic F1 team shows up and gives us the most forgettable races every weekend.
Yeah.
It's depressing.
Yeah.
And at this point, Ferrari isn't competing with Mercedes. They feel like they're competing with Haas. And that's drama. I get it. It's an over dramatization of the situation, but it feels like Mercedes just shows up every week. They're not nailing it, but they sure are a hell of a lot more consistent.
Yeah, I mean, we all want Ferrari to be better. We all want
Yes,
Ferrari to
of course.
live up to the standard they've set for themselves and all of us, which is we are fighting for the championships. They're not. Now, they're fighting for second place.
100%.
But again, and we've talked about this episodes ago. When is Ferrari going to find the magic that McLaren has found?
Yes.
When are they going to find the magic that Red Bull has found? When are they going to find the secret sauce that Mercedes found? Ferrari now has been without a championship for decades.
Yes.
Mercedes has had their dominance. Red Bull's had their dominance. Now we're in the era of McLaren. And these guys are still putzing around, saying they're the best.
100%.
And they're again, they're in second place, but you're a mile back from first.
Yes.
And second place is first loser.
100%.
That's what you are. So Ferrari right now is the first loser, but they're the winningest team. And so
yeah,
I'm waiting for someone to lead Ferrari into the promised land. And they haven't found that yet.
Yeah.
Is there a team principal out there? Is there a car designer out there that can turn that ship around? Because Fred, I love me some Fred. I don't know if he's it. Do you think Fred's the guy who's going to take Ferrari to a championship?
I think Fred is. I think Fred can do it.
What just don't needs to change because they're not winning this year. And they said that was their
100%. 100%. I think it's such a hard year to judge because it's the last year of these regulations.
I know next year
Fred
we go back to the drawing board. I know.
Fred came in and he turned that team around. He took it from where it was and went third place, second place. And then, yes, we wanted them to go first place this year. They didn't. They've regressed. They're still in second place. It's going to be a dogfight.
Oh, no.
To the end of the season.
It will be.
But at the same time, it's Highlander, dude. There can be only one. And until someone gets their broadsword out and lops McLaren's head off, it's going to be a fight. And the reality is, when it comes to what it takes to go from 3-2 to 1, it's not easy.
No,
because teams that have done it are struggling. Red Bull struggling.
Oh yeah,
Mercedes struggling. You could say technically Ferrari's done it. Yeah, forever ago, like decades ago. Like they're still figuring exactly. They're still figuring out how to do it. And so I think for me, they've got the right pieces in place. They've got the right people in place. And yes, he's an 8-time world champion. But it's still his first year at the team. Driving a car he's never driven.
I have a question for you about Hamilton and Ferrari.
Yeah.
Is Hamilton and Ferrari the underdogs or are they the has-beens?
Oh, no, they're 100% the has-beens at the moment. They're the person that was really popular their senior year of high school, but failed. So they had to stay back and redo the whole year, their senior year, as like a 19-year-old.
Yeah.
And you went from being the coolest person to being the saddest person.
Yeah.
Because it's like everyone's kind of like, oh, it's a bit of a bummer you're still here, right?
Yeah. Still wearing your Letterman jacket.
Yes,
and you're like 35.
Exactly.
Here's the thing. F1 has changed so much. I'm not convinced Ferrari has changed with F1.
Right.
When they were winning, F1 was a different beast. It was a different animal. It was a different. I'm not gonna say it's a different sport. It's the same concept. You race cars really fast on cool tracks. Done.
Mm-hmm.
But this modern era of F1, Ferrari has not been able to find success.
Yeah, 100%.
And so their success came when the sport was radically different. And now the sport is a different animal, a different beast, and Ferrari just hasn't found a way to tame it.
Yeah, 100%. And look, Lewis is starting to push Charles in qualifying.
Yeah,
I don't think their car is good enough.
This weekend was great for him. There was a minute in qualifying where he was on provisional pole. I was like, 100%. What is going on?
I was excited.
Yeah,
I was like, let's go. But it, again, with Ferrari, never seems to come to fruition. It's always a what if and never a wow, that was awesome.
I want Ferrari to find the success they deserve.
Yeah.
But at this point, It just time will tell.
But then it's also
there.
like, George, to contradict myself completely here. George outqualified Hammy, outqualified Russ, and just ended up having a Silverstone fever dream because he ends up putting slick tires on too early, spins off the field, goes from the top 5 to the bottom of the pack. And it was
Russ.
It was a little crazy. Antonelli,
dude,
bit the bullet, dude. He was out, lost his rear diffuser, gone.
Weather just called everyone out.
It did. And it wasn't even his fault, which is the real bummer.
Yeah.
I just think as a Mercedes fan, the question I seem to ask myself is like, can we keep this momentum, or was this just like a home cooked fluke for us? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. I mean, this was the race Mercedes would have wanted. I know the weather was insane, but it was probably cooler. I don't know how hot it was, but I think it was a cooler race. And they're always saying, we want the cold. Our car doesn't perform when it's hot. Like, and now again, the tire strategy was the difference between spinning out into the wall or actually finishing the race. And everyone got it wrong at some point. Even Max was spinning, all over the place. And so,
yes.
But this could have been a race Mercedes actually did well.
Yes.
Instead, Kimi's out and Russ was in 10th.
100%.
So, bummer. Can we talk Alpine for a minute?
Yeah.
So, Alpine, Gasly actually has a fantastic result.
Fantastic.
6th result. His teammate, Franco, DNF. Or actually, DNS, did not start.
Correct.
Can't get the car out of second gear. Franco has been having a very poor run.
Ooh, it's been tough.
It's been, Jack Doohan's over here is like, guys, this guy's making me look like a champion.
Yeah.
Franco has been rough. Alpine is in 10th place behind Haas.
Yes.
Behind Aston, behind Racing Bull, behind Kick. And they're looking at Kick with longing.
Yes.
Kick is now 4 places ahead of them.
100%.
And they're like, how did these guys do it? They were the scum. They were the last place. Now we're last place. And Alpine's fall has been so far.
Yeah.
In just a few years, they have fallen down the entire grid. And so now there's talk that Franco's getting the boot. There's talk of Bottas coming into race. There's talk of them bringing Jack Doohan back into race.
Yeah.
What does Alpine need to do?
This is the classic thing about Alpine is that they are an absolute circus.
Yes.
They are a traveling inbred caravan with flea shows and bearded ladies. Like, it is, you never know what to expect.
No, you don't.
You're promised the grandest thing. Come and see one of the 7 wonders of the world, and you're given the most mediocrity that you've ever experienced in your life,
dude.
They just hand you a plate of mid every single week, and
Gasly
was awesome.
Fighting his heart out, man.
Gasly, I love the way that Martin Brundle said it. Oh, look, another former Red Bull driver. Oh, another former Red Bull driver doing really well.
I know.
Not at Red Bull.
Incredible.
And I think the thing this weekend is like, I don't care about Alpine anymore and what they do. And if they make a crazy move, make a crazy move. Bring Jack back. You're probably going to have the same issues that you have with Franco because they're rookies. And that's what rookies bring. They bring problems.
Yeah.
The way that Flavio just hung his hands in his head when Franco like spun out and ended up retiring the car, it to me just felt like confirmation that we're going to see somebody else in that seat. Now, if Valtteri during the pre-show interview was expressing how he misses racing and how he's over being on the sidelines, and he's not a reserve driver for Mercedes. He's the 3rd driver for Mercedes, but there's only 2 cars. So the title means nothing.
Yeah.
He wants to be back in the cockpit.
He wants to go back racing.
Exactly.
Man. He deserves to go back racing.
Because I didn't want him to end the way that he ended his career at Kick.
No.
And so for him to come back at Alpine, you would then have a driver like Gasly, who in Bottas' heyday was driving behind Bottas. Now, Bottas was in his far superior car.
Yeah.
But we're talking about experience, grit, adaptability, racecraft,
Yeah.
just like Gasly.
Yeah.
And you're talking about someone who's going to be able to actually take that team to another level. And you're talking about a driver who's like, just put me in, dude. Just put me in a car.
Yeah.
And I bet you anything, he's looking at Hulkenberg this weekend on the podium going, that should be me.
Dude.
That should be my story.
Magnussen was in the kick
Yeah, I
garage.
saw it, dude. Did you see the clap, the like pity clap? Like I'm really kind of pissed off clap
Yeah,
that he
dude.
gave.
These guys at the end of the day, they're competitive. There's an element of selfishness. Like
They all
have
get
to
into
be
it going,
selfish.
I'm going to be a world champion.
Yeah.
There has to be a level of gravitas that you walk with when you have
world
this.
champion, the
Yes.
best in the world.
What are you saying not to do? To be the number one in the entire world. Like that's the kind of balls you got to have on yourself.
So few attain that.
So few.
I think of Danny Ricciardo
Yes.
seeing that. I think of Checo Perez seeing Hulk today and being like,
yeah,
it's possible.
It's possible.
It's possible to be a pundit and to come back on the worst team.
Yes.
And to like claw your way back up. Like
100%.
That's it. I mean,
and that's just the thing. Like we're talking about Alpine, right? Kick made Alpine look like a soapbox derby team this weekend. Kick.
Dude,
no one.
Unreal, man.
Absolutely no one would have predicted this. Whoever bet on Hulkenberg being on the podium this week in Vegas is a wealthy person.
Oh, dude.
A very wealthy person. Kick is now one of the best midfield teams.
I mean, I'm at a loss.
But it's a fact.
It is. The data doesn't lie.
The data does not lie. They have turned it around. They're outgrowing their title of lameness, the mantle of invisibility that they've carried for the last 2 seasons.
Dude.
Like it's
unreal.
It's super cool.
It's incredible.
And it's just to show you and make you ask, what in the living hell is Red Bull doing?
Well, I mean, dude, yeah.
Like, does Silverstone prove that Red Bull's era is done?
For now, yeah. Yeah, dude, they're over. Yuki has fallen under the curse of that second seat. He never should have left. Now, hindsight is, 2020. But Yuki is screwed for the rest of the season. Potentially his career.
Yep.
That second seat is just cursed. Yep. And Red Bull is the one that cursed it when they designed a car that only one human being in the entire world can drive, which is Max Verstappen. And so, I mean, Red Bull, they know it. They know what they've got on their hands. And this is just what they've got to languish through for the rest of. Yeah. But in the midst of that, there's like these bright moments. Max puts on pole and everyone's losing their mind. But it's like, it doesn't come to fruition. It doesn't mean anything if you can't actually translate that into a win. But for Yuki, I mean, dude, Yuki, I don't know where he goes from here.
Yeah.
I don't know how he continues the season. Like, he's getting way more grace than Liam got. Mm-hmm. Liam, 2 races, you done. Yuki's been finishing last, just above the people who are DNFing. He cannot drive that car.
100%.
So, dude, yeah, Red Bull, there's no easy way out. This is just them taking their medicine the rest of the season.
Yeah.
And it's just a bitter pill to swallow.
Yeah, we're halfway through. Like this is race 12.
Yeah.
And we're officially halfway through the season. And it looks like McLaren's run away with the title.
It's over.
It looks like their drivers are running away with the drivers' championship.
Yep.
They're still
I mean, math can math.
Math can math. But we're heading towards the Hungary GP, and I'm asking myself, Red Bull and Max, is Max still a title contender, or is he just the loudest dude in the declining empire? And I think the answer is they're both out.
Yeah.
I don't know if Red Bull can fix their mess before their homegrown prodigy turns on them. Before Max just goes, I'm out, guys.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Dude, I mean, that is the question that we're all asking. The entire F1 world is asking. When does Max pull his clauses and says, I can't keep doing this? So we got Belgium next, then we got Hungary.
Yeah.
And so
Belgium's next. Spa. Sorry, I said Hungary. You're right.
I had to double check it, but
Spa.
dude.
So going into Spa, McLaren, 2 number 1 drivers.
Yep.
Close in points. Norris took another chunk out of Piastri's lead this week. Are they going to finally declare a number 1 driver?
No.
They're going to embrace the chaos again.
Yeah, I mean you have to. They're not going to do team orders. They're going
wheel to wheel every week.
Let these guys race. We are in for a phenomenal season.
Yeah.
Because these guys are going at each other for the rest of the season. And Lando, dude, what kind of momentum does this give Lando?
Yeah.
2 wins in a row. I mean, this guy just, it's incredible.
Yeah.
The pattern has been when Lando wins, Oscar comes back and wins.
Yeah.
The pattern got interrupted.
Yes.
The FIA, the F1 gods, demigods stepped in with their penalty and penalized Oscar. And Lando broke that pattern now.
Yes. And Lando, albeit is the emotional one, things like this benefit the emotional one. And for the first time, the brick wall of Oscar Piastri's emotions started to crumble.
Dude.
We saw blood in the water.
He's coming, dude. He's only 8 points back.
It's wild.
Lando's 8 points back behind Oscar.
Do you think we're going to continue to watch over the course of the next half of the season? Do you think we're going to watch Ferrari collapse? Or do we think we're going to see a change?
Ferrari's got to have a come to Jesus moment, and they've got to decide, are they what's the North Star here? Like, what is the direction? Is it just to try to hold on to second? Is
Great
it are you continuing to develop the car? Are you looking ahead to next year?
Yes.
Like, because Hamilton has said literally, like, the window of performance is so small. Like, Chuck's already resigned himself to it. He doesn't change his setup. He's like, no, this is the only way to drive this car, as terrible as it is. And Hamilton's been the one saying, I've been tweaking it. I've been trying to figure things out, trying to figure out how to drive it. And he's like, this window is so tiny where I'm just actually resorting to what Chuck's setup is. Yeah. So they have to decide going into the second half of the season, what is the finish line for us here?
Yes.
Is it second place? Is it our drivers scoring higher in the drivers' championship? Because it sure as hell isn't first place in the constructors or first place in the drivers.
Right.
But what is our goal here? And do we have something to actually shoot for?
Yes.
And if that goal is, hey guys, we're done developing this car, we're going to look to next year.
Great. Just communicate it.
Just be clear.
Yes. Which they won't do to us. But yes.
But yeah, just that's what Ferrari needs to figure out. I'm not convinced they have. And again, that's I think the clarity they need to come to as a team.
Yeah. Do you think Fred Vasseur can survive into next season as the team boss?
If they lose second place to Mercedes,
they regress.
I think he's gone.
Yeah.
If they can hold on to it, and if they can make a statement, like, God forbid, can we win some races?
Right, right.
Like,
they start getting podiums. They start winning.
Star?
Yeah.
Like, hey,
starts to feel a little bit more like last year,
right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, they won some races in the past years. Like, they've
100%.
regressed to where they're not winning. So if he can win some races, if he can firmly hold on to second place, if he can make a statement win over Mercedes, I think he retains his job. If he doesn't do those things, I think he's gone.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's like, I don't think he deserves that, but you cannot regress this much when you just brought on Hamilton to where you can't even give the man a win. You can't give podiums. You're losing to Mercedes, who brought in it's too much.
Yeah.
Do you think he holds on to his job?
I'm not sure, man. I think when it comes to Freddie V, he's lost his little Freddie V-ness over the last few weeks. He seems heavy. He seems laden with pressure, and I think
so. Worst job to have in Italy right now,
apparently. And everyone says that it's the hardest job in Formula One, and you can start to finally see it.
Oh yeah, weighing on him.
Yeah. I want to talk midfield for a second. So is Kick Sauber legit going into Spa, or are they just living rent free in Alpine and Aston Martin's dreams / nightmares?
Dude, Kicks for real. The podium feels like an outlier because this whole weekend was an outlier. It's a wonderful outlier. Again,
Yeah,
love it for Hulk. I think Kick's here to stay.
Mm.
And I think they are going to take it to these other teams. Like, they're now in the midfield.
Yeah.
Now, that's a different kind of fight than scrapping for 0 points in the
100%.
back. Like, you gotta show up. So, and this is gonna have to be where Bo and Hulk do their thing.
Bo
is my new nickname for him. Bo and Hulk, let's go.
Incredible.
Go.
Bo.
So again,
amazing.
Like, here, this is the thing I'm thinking about it as well. Like the example I'm going to, McLaren had to learn how to fight from the front.
Yes.
And that took them a minute.
It took them a minute.
And they didn't get it always right. Kick is not going to get it all right being in the midfield. But they're going to have to learn to be in the midfield if they want to stay there. And so, that's where I think
the good news is that their new team principal, Wheatley, is abundantly aware of what it means to fight in the upper midfield coming from Red Bull and the years that he spent there. Yeah, I think you're right. I think Kick is back to stay. I think these upgrades at the beginning have been slow, but have been building upon each other, which seems to be the way to go. I guess most important question heading into the Spa weekend, and not to end on too serious of a note, but is Lance Stroll going to fake another injury before someone finally asks him to step aside?
That's a serious one. Lance is. I want Lance.
I think Lance is.
I want Lance to find peace.
Yeah. Oh, that's nice.
Nice. Like peace within himself.
Yeah. That's nice.
And do you want to be here?
Yeah.
Like for real? Like is this the thing that you want?
Can you notify your face?
Can you tell us and tell yourself?
Yes.
If this is the thing that makes you come alive.
Yes.
It doesn't feel that way.
Yes. Are you alive?
Are you alive? And can you just
give
you
us smile?
Some response here?
Exactly.
I don't know, dude. I mean, I don't want to like here's my question for you. What would Lance need to do for us to actually take him serious as an F1 driver? Besides the obvious of like, I don't know, get a podium. Like,
I think
anything else
I think
do?
Performance. I think being the first one to the track and the last one to the track. Think about the way that Hamilton operates, the way that Max operates. They go into their debriefs and they're there.
Yeah.
Until every ounce of data has been poured over, until every question has been asked. They're listening to the engineers, waiting for them to say something to go like, I wonder if that's why I felt this in the car.
Yeah.
Versus I'm out of the car, I'm out of the paddock, there's just an air of like, they understand the grit in which it needs to be accomplished. And so they put the work in it. And if anyone has an excuse not to do that, it would be Max, it would be Lewis, it would be Alonso. All three of them spend the most amount of time in the paddock.
Yeah.
The most amount of time debriefing. The most amount of time making sure that they're not wasting time with media, but they're furthering their understanding of the car, what it needs, what they need to change. They're analyzing their teammates' data. They're analyzing other teammates' data. And you just don't see, like, that's what I need to see from, no, I'm going to do whatever it takes. I'm going to wait for Adrian Newey to give me a car that's good enough. I'm going to do whatever it takes. Yeah. That's what it would take from Lance. All right, who's going to crack under pressure in Spa? Car, driver, team principal. Who's going to crumble as we go to Spa the Francorchamps?
Why did Ferrari come to mind?
Yeah.
I'm thinking Ferrari. I'm thinking Red Bull's going to maintain their downward trajectory.
I don't know. Max is a beast at Spa.
He is. Yuki's not.
Yuki's not great.
So
Not great.
I'm looking to see how Kimi shows up for Mercedes,
Mm-hmm.
and if we're gonna see Mercedes beat Ferrari. I'm looking to see if Kick is still legit. If this is a pattern, if this is momentum they can build on. I have really no hope right now for Williams.
Right. Yeah. It's been tough.
You know, Albon, he got some points today. Sainz was out of them. Now Williams is looking over their shoulder at Kick.
Yeah, they're slipping.
Like I feel like Williams is actually going to be at risk in Spa.
Of being the new Alpine. Yeah. And on that note, thank you for tuning in to Rolling Start. We're looking forward to the Spa F1 race.
It's going to be fantastic.
It's either going to be awesome or it's going to be terrible. It's either going to be super fun or laden with a bunch of rain. But that is F1.
That's F1.
And that is why we love it. We'll see you guys next time. Don't forget, if you're listening now, thank you. You're awesome.
Yeah.
Unless you're Philip, don't ruin races. Big no-no.
Love you, Phil.
And subscribe. Go ahead and like us. Go ahead and leave a comment. We respond to almost every single one of them. Even if you're an idiot, we're going to talk to you. And we're going to engage and make sure that all of your F1 information is slightly inaccurate and definitely over-opinionated from us. And so...
Absolutely.